Right. Should we discuss some nerdy news?
I think we should. A little bit of news from the Christmas period.
So we got a Superman trailer.
We did right after we'd recorded our super
Mhm.
episode.
It didn't change the world, but fuck me, was it good?
It didn't change the world, but I would say from what I saw of reception of it, more people were like, oh, this is. I think it brought some people around that weren't so sure, or were like, oh, there's a new Superman coming, or like, we're kind of like, oh, DC's starting again, and they're like, oh, Superman.
It's a difficult one. I mean, you know what my Twitter's like at this point.
Yeah.
I just see controversial opinions all the time. So it's really difficult for me to actually gauge response to something like this.
Mm.
So I can only ever go based on my reaction. I love it. I think it's bright and colourful. I saw people comparing it visually to a CW show. I don't know where they're getting that from. Like, because I don't know if that's just become like a party line of I hate this thing, so I'm going to call it a CW show, or if they actually have a reason why they think that. Because if they do, I don't see it. Um, Crypto, my boy, looked amazing.
Yeah.
I am even more convinced, having now seen it in like through the lens and edited how the film will look, that Mr. Terrific suit is a top 2 comic book suit of all time, and it ain't second. Because my god, it's perfect.
It does look
I'm
good.
so excited. I'm so excited.
I saw the obviously general fans are always like, we want more comic accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously we get Green Lantern shown in the trailer with his bowl cut.
Uh-huh.
And
Respect the bowl
everyone,
cut.
yeah, and everyone's like, oh, who the fuck is this Green Lantern? He looks stupid. And then all the comic book fans are going, you wanted comic accurate. Boom, here's the evidence of this is comic accurate.
I saw a really, really funny tweet, and it was someone going, I love James Gunn routinely casting his friends in his projects just to make them dress up in the most ridiculous outfit ever and or kill them off in a really embarrassing way. I'm like, you know what? Spot on. One big compliment I saw, even from people who weren't convinced by the trailer, was that Nicholas Hoult as Lex was
Yes.
irradiating hatred for Superman.
Yeah, it really. In the few moments we get it, we're like, oh, this man already hates Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole him punching out of a glass cell and then the whole cocking a pistol to.
So I saw a really interesting discussion about that, the shot for that.
Hmm.
So that wasn't done digitally.
Interesting.
So you know how you got like the warping effect. I'm not amazing on like cinematography and stuff, so you'll have to bear with me slightly here. But basically, the way you get like that kind of warping effect as he's like recoiling for the punch
Hmm.
is by changing the lens essentially to make it a wider shot versus a narrower shot.
The
And normally, when you see that in films, they've done it digitally by shooting in one and then digitally like putting the footage through almost a filter of the other lens. But instead, they had a camera loaded with dual lenses and they shot both and then they merged the footage or whatever. So, by the sounds of it, from a cinematography point of view, that shot is like a really fucking cool shot that's completely unnecessary, but it's like we're doing this, so we're going to do our best. So I know a lot of
that
people
wouldn't
who are like
surprise me.
into like the way shots are made were like, that is a really cool thing to just give us in the trailer. That's so cool. And obviously I'm there like, yeah, that's a cool shot, but they're like losing their mind over how the shot was done. And I'm like, that I always get excited when people are nerdy about things I'm not nerdy about, or like, that was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can do like nowadays with these different camera rigs for cinema cameras, you do some crazy stuff with lenses and stuff. So more and more is being brought back into practically done in the lenses because you get a certain look with it. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
It's an interesting
the
one.
trailer looks good. I now more than ever want the Super Bowl to be like this is America's like full patriot
I'm just
mode.
I'm really curious as well because he said in an interview that most of the trailer is like pretty early in the film,
Mm.
which means like as he's been saying, this universe keeps going on whether we're like watching it or not almost.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to come in and like that kaiju fight you're seeing is probably like the start of the film,
Probably.
which is exactly what I'm talking about. Have the hero being a hero, and then you're just jumping in for this part of what the hero's doing. It's not a problem. Um, which is why you're going to see a few more characters there because clearly something didn't quite go right. He's still being Superman. It's very interesting. But I saw something that is a brilliant fan theory that I'm in love with because it's funny and it adds layers.
Okay.
And I hope it's true. So, when we see Clark go into the Daily Planet office,
Yes.
he looks over his shoulder at Lois. And they kind of look at each other like, ooh, who are you? Like that kind of vibe.
Mm.
Then later on in the trailer, they are making out in his flat. In both of them scenes, they are wearing the exact same outfits. So people are going, publicly, is Lois known to be dating Superman? So at work, they have to pretend they're not dating? And I love that. I love that so much.
Really overly
The other
selling
fan
it.
theory, the other fan theory is it is the same day, and Lois being like powerful city woman is just like you're coming home with me, and that is also brilliant.
I thought you were gonna say it. She works it out that day, so like she's already dated Superman. Then she goes that whole meme of like she draws on like a picture, and she's like, "Wait a second."
Yeah. I love the idea of them two scenes being the same day though, and whatever happens in between being really funny. A lot of the costume nerds, as we'll call them, were loving the way they made Clark look a bit meager by giving him an oversized suit.
Right.
So, like, instead of having a really nice tailored suit,
Yeah.
they essentially got him a suit that was too big, which made him look smaller in the suit, which inherently makes him look like a smaller dude.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to, like, the big thing people always talk about Christopher Reeve was his posture. So when he was Superman, he broadened his shoulder, and then when he plays Clark, he slouches ever so slightly and brings his shoulders forward a little bit. And that was, like, a phenomenal bit of, like, physical acting.
Yeah.
And they're, like, implementing that kind of concept via the costume, which I think is brilliantly well done. But I'm so excited for this film. No one's gonna knock my hype for this film. I'm gonna go into this film in the summer like a kid, ready to see Superman. It's gonna be great. I don't know, unless you've got an ulterior agenda that you're trying to push.
Snyder fans.
Well, not just them. Some people just want to see James Gunn fail.
True.
I don't know how you're not at least cautiously optimistic.
The funny thing will be, is this is like an absolute fucking hit, and there were certain people like, oh my, like praising it as like the best Superman film. Like, hang on a second, 6 months ago you were saying James Gunn's dog shit.
So how much should I hate to do it because it does add more fuel to the fire. Man of Steel made 670 million worldwide.
Right.
That's the number to beat. Otherwise, it will be unbearable.
Yeah. I think it will.
This film has a chance to break 1 billion because if it's good, I mean, I reckon it makes like 400 million, good or bad. I think it then makes 1 billion if it's good because people go, holy shit, a good Superman film. And I'm not saying Man of Steel is bad, Schneider fans, get a grip. But I think this film is more appealing to a wider audience in a lot of ways. And I think it also fits what the world kind of wants a little bit. I mean, people don't want a dark, gritty take on Superman. Superman is supposed to be like the mega hopeful superhero.
Yeah, and they also don't want origin story again. Like, I'm sure there's going to be a couple of flashbacks here and there about things.
Of course there will.
But
I'm excited, man. Crypto looks amazing. It feels right that Superman has his doggo.
I think that there's a I I really hope they have fun with a Super Bowl trailer idea because I actually think that would sell it so much more if it's just like typical American man and his dog, and it's like the American life, and it's just Superman playing fetch with crypto, and it's like if they lean into that, people are gonna go, okay, I want to go see this Superman film.
Yeah. It's difficult. I feel like we're so plugged into this world that
Mm,
we actually don't know what the average person needs to see in a
yeah,
trailer to get them to go see it. Because
true.
obviously we're plugged in. We knew Mr. Terrific. We know of Mr. Terrific. We know a Guy Gardner. We know of all
Hawk
of the
Girl.
other stuff. And it's just like, okay, well, do they need to show the average American? Because if they just show Superman, is that enough? Maybe not. What do they
Uh,
need? What do they need to show? And that's going to be, I think, the big thing here. I just wanted to spell one bit of misinformation that I've seen on the internet that's doing my nut in.
okay.
One of the lies being perpetrated, I'm not going to say by who, um, is that this film has a budget of $360 million. Let's be completely clear here. No studio is greenlighting a film of a brand new universe with a budget of $360 million in this economy. James Gunn has already on record said that if this film is a massive failure, DC might have to reevaluate whether they can make films full stop. Do you
Mm.
really think if that was the case, they would spend $360 million on one film? Get a fucking grip. Yes, James Gunn is the co-CEO of DC. They do not get their studio budget films. He is not the decision maker of that.
No, he'll be
Solely.
told this is your budget.
Yes, and that will come from HBO or Discovery or whatever the fuck, Warner Bros. Discovery. Yeah? Like,
Well,
use
yeah.
your brains a little
Like,
bit. Don't
this
believe
is
everything you read on the internet.
he'll be told a budget, then he'll go, oh, I really want this to do this thing, and it's going to push the budget to this, and then it'll be like, okay, fine, and then but we can save money here, and like those, this is just how it works. Yeah, there's no way they're going to blow a ridiculous amount on the first film.
Yeah, it's crazy that people can even remotely believe that. No film in this economy is getting a budget of $360 million. Not a single one.
The only thing where they're probably going to go overboard on is the marketing because it is the first DCU film.
Yes, absolutely. But that's just not the film, and
No.
this is what yeah. But I just had to get that out there, so if anyone ever comes into our comments suggesting it, I can have on record that I've already dispelled that bullshit. And hopefully someone's seen that online and thought, oh, that's crazy, now they see this, and they go, oh, okay, I was misled. This is another cool bit of information. So we've been cautiously getting more and more excited for Christopher Nolan's next bit of work.
Yeah, as he has been building his roster.
His mega cast. And we've now finally been told what the project is. And it is The Odyssey by Homer.
They're the Greek Odyssey.
I'm excited. It's very not Nolan on the face, but it is very Nolan in what the story is. Like all of his stories are big adventures.
Yeah.
To like an end goal, and like the Odyssey is like the birth of that concept.
Yeah, isn't it Troy returning home after the whole?
Yes, I'm
something
not.
Like that.
I'm not phenomenal with it.
If I recall what I've seen on TikToks and stuff, people explain it. It's like Troy's journey home after the all that like horse situation and all that stuff, and he ends up going on a huge, like essentially like your typical fantasy adventure as he crosses the world to try and return home.
Well, it is like the fantasy adventure, isn't it? It is the one that created the tropes of how you tell a story.
Without this, there is no Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I believe this should have like the Cyclops in it.
Yep, the Cyclops. I believe there's like the sea monsters. There's
I'm excited.
Plenty of other crazy fantasy shit.
I'm really curious as to who's playing who now, though. Like, well, yeah. I kind of fuck with the idea of Matt Damon being all of the monsters.
voicing them.
And
That's
doing
the
motion
point.
capture.
One of this casting could be the Cyclops.
Yeah, and I'm again, I might be wrong. Medusa might be a part of this story. Is Medusa part of the Odyssey? I'm not gonna pretend I know my Greek history that well.
Oh. Creatures in the Greek.
No, she's not in the Odyssey. So I was like, what if like Zendaya's been cast to be Medusa, but maybe she could be like Helen of Troy. I don't know.
You've got 6 monsters and their roles. You've got the cruel Cyclops. You've got the sirens.
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking of then.
So maybe Zendaya would be a siren.
Or maybe she's Calypso as well. I don't know.
There's
You've got lots of very important
there's
people.
the 6-headed serpent, which is the devouring whirlpool. That's just going to be that's going to be a wetter digital job.
I'm just it's so out there, and I trust Christopher Nolan to make it work. But it's exciting to just know more about what talented people are working on. It's always fun when a very talented individual announces what they're actually working on. Like when Kojima announces his next game, it's always exciting. When From Software announce their next game, it's exciting. When top directors announce their next project, it's exciting. But yeah, there we go. The Odyssey, very, very exciting. Less exciting. Dune Prophecy has been renewed for a second season.
Well, mixed. I don't feel like it's obviously less exciting, but I don't think it's. We talked about it earlier. I'm optimistic in the sense of like maybe now they've got the story going. If they can just go straight back into it, maybe season 2 will be better.
As my New Year's resolutions, I'm going to be more pessimistic.
You can get more pessimistic.
I have been incredibly optimistic for the last year. Thank you. I've tried to give everything the benefit of the doubt. And maybe it's just like such like recency bad taste in my mouth.
Possibly.
Maybe when we get closer to it and I start to see more, and like I said, if they do really kick on from episode 1, I might be like, okay, cool, slug first season, but we're good to go now. Because like I'll never have to watch season 1 again. I will remember every painstaking second of it. But it's just, I'm always nervous because this is the kind of thing. Stuff like Dune Prophecy gets a second season when it's at best okay. And then I see other shows that are really good that get cancelled after a season, and I'm like, mint. It's just a-okay. But yeah, I mean, at least people have got a job. That's good news, I guess.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford is excited to potentially return as Red Hulk in the future. I think it will be fascinating to see where that character goes if he goes anywhere. He said this in an interview with Empire. Now, I find it hard to believe Harrison Ford was excited about anything other than something Indiana Jones related, because that's the only character he's ever seemed to actually care about.
Yeah, and then there's like some other random film where he like, I forget what it is.
Either Marvel have finally worn him down and got him to play nice, or he is genuinely excited.
Or this is him being Harrison Ford and
the reporter's not clocked it. He's being sarcastic as fuck.
Just being like clearly talking shit off the top of his head because he hasn't got a clue what you've just asked him. Sort of answer.
Would be funny. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I thought we'd already covered this, but apparently not. The James Bond films have apparently stalled development as Amazon are, and this is a quote, fucking idiots, according to the franchise producer Barbara Broccoli, and this was via the Wall Street Journal. Is it broccoli or no? Broccoli. Sorry, that's a Freudian slip there. Broccoli. Here's the thing. Normally I'd be like, wow, what an outrageous thing to say. But this woman has been involved with James Bond for a while. She's like worked on like the Craig films, which are phenomenal. if she said they're being fucking idiots and they don't understand the character, I'm going to trust her. And
I mean,
and it's a good thing that there is someone who cares enough about James Bond to go fuck you to Amazon.
well, here's the thing. This is Amazon. We've recently seen this basically same situation happen with Henry Cavill and Amazon on the 40K project. We know that stalled because there was creative disagreements. And he's managed to get through them because I imagine, like Barbara's doing, called them out on their bullshit, stuck to it, and Amazon's gone, okay, that better. We don't want to lose this, so we'll listen.
Yeah.
And I think I would imagine this is a bit of, there are people at Amazon that probably know to just let these people do their thing and it's working, so we don't mess with that, like just let them create what they want to create. But then there'll be certain execs that are like, you know, when like you're told by your boss you have to bring up, like, it's like, okay, I'm being told I have to ask this, but what if we did it this way? And like, unfortunately, it be the people at the top that don't really care what is being made. They're just like, how do we make more money?
Yeah. This is the thing, like James Bond is one of our genuinely very few IPs from the 60s that when they release a film, it's still a massive event and everyone's excited for it. James Bond has so much butt in seat power. You do not rush James Bond films, they take as long as they take, and you do not fuck with the people who understand James Bond.
Especially this next one, because it is the start of a new Bond. Like, this is especially one you don't want to fuck with, because if you don't do this well, people are going to go, oh, this Bond's not good. I prefer Daniel Craig.
What are the chances that Amazon tried to sell them on a multiverse Bond film and you got all the old Bonds back?
Well, did you not necessarily like a multiverse one? Have you not heard that like the reason she's calling them idiots about the franchise is because they were pitching the ideas of like having spin-offs and turning James Bond into a MCU sort of thing. Which is why I think they've obviously pitched like, what if we do this with this Bond IP? And like, no, we're making just the next Bond film.
Yeah. James Bond goes out, he has sex with a very attractive lady, somehow he saves the world.
Well,
that is James Bond.
We could change it up. Like,
it doesn't. Let me be clear. I'm not going to be one of these people who loses my mind if they cast a black James Bond, or if they make it so the next James Bond shags a really attractive bloke. The only rule is whoever James Bond has sex with in the film has to be someone that I can sit there on the normal person can sit there and go, Christ, they're attractive. I don't give a fuck if it's a man or a woman. James Bond just has to bed someone beautiful on the way to save the world. That is the rules.
He also needs to play poker at some point.
Yes. Yes, it's very simple. Don't get me wrong. The intricacies of the story are a bit more complicated, but like the bits that you cannot fuck with are set in stone.
This is totally like side thought. James Bond, known to drive Aston Martins, also known to drive Jags, I'm pretty sure at times.
Yeah.
I'd love if the showrunners and writers put in something about the new Jaguar rebranding in cars, and they're like, he goes, oh no, I don't like those Jags anymore. I'd rather go Aston Martin.
Like some visible comment of like traditionally Aston Martin.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I don't think it's that difficult for this is one of the few IPs where if you're not involved directly with the IP, you just make a good film and trust them to do it. And also, while we're here, because I had the argument on Twitter, stop suggesting Henry Cavill for James Bond. He is not a good enough actor to be James Bond. Get a fucking grip. Christ. Oh my god, he did a spy thriller literally this year that's so dogshit I bet you can't even remember the name of it right now.
Well, the Ungrateful Gentlemanly Warfare.
No. That actually came out last year, I think. Oh, 2023. He did one that came out in 2024. Madly heavy marketing. And it was so bad you can't even remember what it was. Exactly. Argyle. Yeah, exactly. Henry Cavill is not a bad actor. I don't want everyone to think I hate Henry Cavill. What I'm sick of is people acting like he is a phenomenal actor. He is rigid as fuck, and the times where he actually needs to act a little bit, he is never the solo lead. They go and get someone else in to do the heavy lifting of the actual acting. People were talking about The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and Ungentlemanly Warfare and Mission Impossible 6, which are like spy thrillers where he's very good. All of them films have something in common. He's not the sole lead. I don't want to come across as a hater because I don't think he's bad. I don't think like he should not get any more acting jobs. He is not fucking James Bond. When we talk about the caliber of acting that James Bond has had, Sean Connery, Pierce Brosnan, Daniel Craig, all of the fucking Bond actors, for the most part, have been phenomenal actors. Henry Cavill is not even close to that fucking level, and it's disrespectful to suggest he should be the next James Bond.
I'm of the boat of like, the James Bond should not be someone who's already a well-established name.
Yes and no. It depends on the right person. Like 10 years ago when we were talking about it, had they cast Idris Elba, I'd have been all over that. Because he was perfect. I get he's aged out of it now, which sucks. But I agree that if possible they should go for someone. But like Richard Madison, is it Richard Madison? I think so.
What about the actor that played Alex Cross?
Yeah, I mean he's American.
Yeah, but I'm sure he can do a British accent.
No. That is one of my only other rules. They don't. This is a weird one. People might get a bit angry about this. James Bond shouldn't be English, but he should be from Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, Ireland. The actor.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That's a weird thing I have. I just think they have produced some of the best actors for playing James Bond. But yeah, ideally, if they are lesser known, brilliant. I completely agree with that conceptually. But if they are already pretty famous, I'm not against it. But yeah, I see one more person suggest Henry Cavill, you're getting muted on Twitter because you have dog shit film opinions. It's that simple.
It's fine. He'll be great as a space marine. That role's made for him.
And his thing, Henry Cavill is a good actor in roles like that. But stop trying to suggest he should be certain roles just because you. This is a big problem. A lot of the love for Henry Cavill as an actor, and let me be clear, he does deserve some love because he is still a good actor, comes from, he's really attractive and he likes the same things I like, from weirdos online who are also, I built my own PC and I love Warhammer, so they think he should be in everything because they think he's like them. He's still a millionaire. He still wouldn't piss on you if you're on fire. Christ. Oh, I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of it. I don't know, maybe it's my rage year. Last year I was trying to be understanding about everything. Maybe this year I'll just tell people when they're being a dumbass. A film that you're not excited for yet, but I am. Edgar Wright's Running Man remake starring Glenn Powell has been moved up to November 7th, 2025. It's going to be great. Have you seen the original Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I don't actually know if I have.
Is it available to watch anywhere? The Running Man. Where can you watch it? Nowhere for free. Fuck. All these streaming services and nowhere has like 1980s classics. It's just diabolical. So basically, the entire concept is, in this world, if you go to prison, you can essentially offer to do a death run. And if you survive, you get your freedom. That's the concept. And he plays like someone who was falsely convicted and he's trying to escape.
Got you. It's
very 1980s in the best way. And I'm really excited with Glenn Powell, whose acting range is godly.
Mm-hmm.
And then Edgar Wright, whose direction style I adore. I can't not be excited for this film. More good news. Creature Commandos has been renewed for a second season.
Huge. Pog.
Yes,
Which
I
means
mean,
new set of characters.
almost certainly. I'd like to see
let's
maybe
get the
one or
predictions
two
in now.
characters. I'd like to see one or two characters stay just to keep the team cohesion.
I think you're going to get a couple that stay. Maybe one of them actually does. Well, GI Robot's gone for now.
So apparently there were multiple iterations of GI Robot, so we might get like an upgraded version. More better designed to kill Nazis efficiently.
But possibly. But I mean, I don't think in Creature Commandos we see GI Robot again.
Probably not.
Because it's a newer one shouldn't be in prison. If it's already controlled by the government. So
yeah, it'll be interesting.
I feel like we're going to end up with the Bride potentially carrying over.
I think the Bride being a mainstay, at least for the first two seasons, would be a good decision.
It's that or the Bride escapes with Frankenstein.
I think one of Phosphorus and the Bride has to stay.
Yes. I do think someone is going to die.
Yes.
Permanently.
It might be the other one of them too.
Yeah, true. But yeah, we could get some fun future creatures.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see what we get. I mean, yeah, it's nice to see something DC put out get renewed.
To be honest, we should go back and see in the background who else is in the prison from this week's episode, and then
go from there.
Yeah, they might get pulled up, and we just get to learn more about them.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to laugh at a CEO bellyaching that his company's dog shit? Sony Pictures CEO says Craven is the worst launch they've had since he took over in 2017. And he still doesn't understand because the film is not a bad film. Claiming that people no longer care about the quality of their spin-offs, they just want to bash Sony. And this was a big article where he talked about multiple things of the Spider-Verse spin-offs. And he said, like, Madam Web was, like, not bad. It even made a profit. People, like, Netflix apparently ordered a hit out on the film. I went to see that film. I paid with my own hard-earned fucking money to go watch that film. That ADR was an abomination. It was horrifically written, horrifically directed. The acting was not good. The colour palette was abysmal. The story made no fucking sense. And the marketing was dreadful. He loses all credibility of all people being a bit harsh on us when he tries to say Madam Web was a good film.
Hot take, though. I don't think Craven deserved to be the worst launch.
No, but it's
I know
films like this are intertwined.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, like, when you take it at face value, and you look at Madam Web, and then you look at this, you go, okay, this did not everything you've just said about Madam Web. That should have always been the worst launch.
Yeah, Madam Web did the damage to Craven.
Yeah, but which I'm like, I agree. This being the worst launch isn't fair on Craven because it's not the worst one of them. Him not understanding is just him going, I don't understand how our customers, after we gave them free dog shit products, don't trust the next product to not be dog shit. It's like, we gave them Venom, which was okay. Yeah, we gave them Venom, which was okay, but then we gave them Morbius, Madam Web, and fucking Craven, and somehow they didn't want to turn out for the third one. Let me remind you, on a news segment maybe 2 years ago now, we discussed how they announced they were working on an El Muerto film, a comic book character who'd appeared twice. This is what we were working with. They are dog shit fucks. The fact that this man is a CEO, probably earning more money per year than I will see in my life, is actually an abomination if he can't get his thick skull around why this film flopped. Yeah, the funniest thing of that is like his line of people no longer care about the quality of their spin-offs and just want to bash them. It's like, I wonder how we've got to this point where people no longer care what you put out and we just bash you before it's out. But maybe you need to reflect.
Here's the thing, and I understand he doesn't listen to this and he just looks at major outlets. We were sat here trying to think of ways Craven could actually be a good watch. Like, we were, don't get me wrong, we didn't expect it to be good, but we were like, okay, if they do this, it might be okay. And when we came out, they were like, no, it wasn't particularly good, but they were close to it being good.
Yeah,
But
like
they would just rather sit there and go, "We did nothing wrong. Everyone's just being mean to us in our film," instead of actually trying to improve.
I swear he's just like comparing it to old 2000s superhero films. He's like, look, it's no different from these, and you love these films. It's like, yeah, but it's
Outrageous. I've never been so infuriated by a CEO not understanding. Once again, proving that no C-suite position deserves the money they earn. Because if
it's
he
fine.
can't understand why these films failed,
He'll be
does he understand
he
anything?
will step down from his position.
Craziness. Batman: The Brave and the Bold, the DCU project being directed by Andrew Muschietti of The Flash infamy, has been delayed. We don't know how long for. We just know it's not moving particularly fast at the minute. Even worse news: The Batman Part 2 has been delayed until October 1st, 2027. Apparently, it will begin filming late summer 2025. And it may not be titled Part 2 anymore. According to James Gunn, the reason for the delay is purely because they've not got the final scripting yet, but nothing's to worry about. The film's not getting canned or anything. It just takes how long it takes. People then went to comment, oh, it's ridiculous how long it's been between these sequels. And then he kind of listed a few examples of where sequels have taken a lot longer than 5 years, which is kind
Gladiator,
of
most
valid.
recently.
Gladiator, Avatar, The
Yeah.
Incredibles. What I didn't realize until he said it, the gap between Guardians 2 and Guardians 3 was 5 years. So it's not that insane. It feels that insane because the Batman was a masterpiece and
we
we've
just want
wanted
more.
it.
I think
Everyone who saw that film left the cinema going, right, are you finished with number 2 yet?
now this might be a stretch of a theory, because obviously he will have
Okay.
been writing the script for a while. I wonder if he's struggled to get the script to a final stage because he's ended up tweaking things off the success of Penguin and knowing he's then going to do a season 2 of Penguin now. And I wonder if that changes, knowing that would probably come out before the film. I wonder if that has then meant he's had to tweak things of like time where things would be, and that's then delayed him getting a script further along.
Maybe. I mean, at the end of the day, writing a script is not easy, and it also isn't like it takes X amount of hours. Like, it takes however long it takes, and as much as it sucks because we're impatient and we want the cool things as soon as possible, we've got to understand that art does take time.
Hey,
There are other things going on. Do other things. Read comic. Go to your local comic book store and read a comic book while you wait.
Hey, we'll be busy with the DCU while we wait, because we'll have had Superman and Supergirl.
Yeah.
By this point.
I need people to be more understanding of how long stuff takes. I don't fully understand how long this stuff takes, but I try to be understanding that I don't understand how long it takes, if that makes sense. I'm like, I couldn't write a script for a film that's probably going to make $1 billion in 3 years, so in all fairness, why could I expect him to do that? Like, we just got to be patient, and hopefully our patience is rewarded with the film we're hoping for.
Yeah.
Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man slightly longer trailer came out like 2 days ago.
It did.
People are still bashing the art style.
Yeah, no, I'm ignoring it, because there's just as many people that actually are enjoying the art style, and I've seen people talking about like they like how this looks.
Don't get me wrong, Twitter is no longer conducive to actual conversation.
No.
But occasionally you do see someone who manages to get their thoughts out in a coherent way. And what someone said was, you can tell they wanted this show to be 2D, but then didn't for some reason. And I think that's kind of right. When you look at like the actual art style, it does look like a 2D show, and I kind of get what they mean by that.
Well, the thing is, nowadays, like, so much of animation is done through 3D, and because there is ways to make it look 2D, it is cheaper and easier to produce using CGI.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an issue with them doing it 3D and making it look 2D. It's like people need to realize they're going, oh, this looks dog shit. It's like, no, this is a very specific art style that they've clearly gone for. And that is if it's straight off a comic book page, like if they literally took it, like people go, this looks really flat. And it's like, that's the point. It's a creative choice.
Yeah. I mean, once you actually watch the show, if you still don't like the style, that is fine. The beauty and the pain of animation is some styles you're just not going to like, which is completely fine. But I don't agree with bashing it. The only thing I will bash about the trailer, and this is proper nerd mode, so settle in.
Oh.
At the end of the trailer, he gets a suit from
Yes.
Norman Osborn.
Yes.
That suit is the Future Foundation suit that is given to him by the Future Foundation, which is like a rebranding plus friends of the Fantastic Four. I can't remember exactly. I think it's like Fantastic Four, She-Hulk, some other pretty intelligent people, and Peter Parker. And then you got the Future Foundation suits. For some reason, the Future Foundation suit seems to be the suit he's going to wear at least for a decent amount of the show, and it's now been given to him by Norman Osborn. I'm really not sure how I feel about that.
I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah. Just, you could have done the same idea, but just like not made the suit a legit rip-off of another suit.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
But I mean, I'm still excited. You know how I feel about new projects. I just want them. I want to know what's happening.
Spider-Man, so you're extra excited.
An animated Spider-Man project, man. We're so back. Huge bit of DC news that kind of just came out of nowhere.
Well, yes and no. This is something that the groundwork was laid many, many months ago.
About 2 years ago, I think now.
I know, it was after Aquaman 2. So that was like a year at most.
Came out in 2023, so about a year and a bit.
But there was groundwork laid by a certain Jason Momoa, and we discussed that he'd had chats with James Gunn. And everyone talks about the fact that he's said, oh, I'd love to play Lobo. But his dream has come true.
Yeah, he will be playing Lobo in the Supergirl film.
Yeah, interesting. I wasn't expecting it to be in the Supergirl film.
So, I mean, for Christmas, I got the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic that the film is reportedly based on. By my understanding, like as part of that, she's like roaming space a little bit, and I assume she comes across him.
Okay. That would make sense.
But I mean, it's cool. I mean, he fits the role instinctively.
Yeah, and I'm glad that he's not being like kicked out of the DC world, because although the Aquaman films were so, shall we say, he enjoyed being Aquaman, and I think he did a good job of playing that Aquaman.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad James Gunn's managed to keep him about.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm excited to see what he does with the role. I think it will absolutely be worth it.